Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I am Lisa Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
We're about to review the Season 3 episode, The Stakeout, directed by Alan Rafkin and written by Barry Rabinowitz. And I bet you I've got some facts about them, don't you, Chris?
I do. So with regard to... and Rafkin will... I'm saving my next notes, I think, for another episode or two. But Barry Rabinowitz, this was his third episode for the series, with another 5 more to go, including the upcoming bus stop in Season 3. At around this time, he also was bouncing around the Happy Day space and getting credit as the writer on Bye Bye Blackball. So we'll be back with Barry and check in with some further notes. And yeah, so that was good. It definitely is. It's a very, you'll be able to tell this is a very sitcom-y episode because of the fact it's, and Barry does a good job with it though. But with Rafkin, more of it is a kind of an opinion note rather than a trivia note. But it's definitely, this is an episode showing his chops with regards to timing. He takes a very simple setup and lets the character actors have a blast and keeps a very brisk pace. So this is definitely, it's an episode that, Rafkin did a ton of television. He was basically directing into his 70s. And this is one of those episodes that it shows this is a guy who was a lifetime of work. So.
Yes. And as we've said before, he won an Emmy for directing One Day at a Time. That was his assignment right after this one. So he went right from this set to that set.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was an interesting little factoid. And here's what the episode is about. The girls come home from a shopping trip to the sound of a stranger flushing their toilet. After holding them at that point, the girls learn said strangers are FBI agents, Ronald Williams and Herbie Franks, and that Edna is allowing them to use the building as a base for a stakeout. The girls are soon forced to lie to their friends and family alike about the Fed's presence. The girls are excited by the investigation and attracted to the average-looking FBI guys until one of the accomplices to the crime turns out to be Carmine, who appears to be working as a courier for Mr. Mazzetti, their across-the-street neighbor and subject of the investigation. The girls try to do everything they can think of to protect Carmine, but will it all be for naught? What do you think of this episode?
This was kind of a nice rush. It's definitely one that I didn't kind of get a deeper feeling out of, but it's it's, as I mentioned before, it's very brisk. It just kind of keeps moving, and it's I really love that he kind of lets the character actors and the situations. They're all having fun with it. Like I feel like this is one of those he never. The directing and the performances as well, they never really hold back. What it is they're using exactly as much as they want in these moments. They figure out what they're doing, they're making decisions, and you get to just have a blast just reveling in those decisions. The acting in this episode I felt was really good. Just there's a lot of details. I mean, the bit with the bats, when they're sneaking around, the tag team wrestling move and kick your feet with the spin, the physical comedy there. The line delivery, it's like, all right, now frisk him. It's like, I do not frisk strange men. That was so good. Just a lot of those elements. And it's everyone's having a good time. Oh my God. And Lenny and Squiggy responding to the lie about Ronald.
Yeah.
And being a cousin.
Very dark.
And it's like he's from southern Italy, because he's darker skinned. It's just really tan. It's like, hi.
The actor playing Ronald is so good. He is just relishing this part.
Yep.
And he's having such a good time just bouncing off of this part, bouncing off the walls, and enjoying the physical comedy and just like having fun tweaking the script. He's really good in this particular episode. This is a fun little show. It's a really fun little episode. Everyone gets a good part in it. The compressed time frame of the stakeout really helps. It's kind of a bottle episode, but not really. Actually, it kind of is a bottle episode. It takes place entirely in the girls' apartment.
I don't...
Yeah. I was going to correct myself. This is a bottle episode. It takes place entirely in the girls' basement apartments. We don't really get any scenery changes. We go into their bedroom and that's it. And the way they handle that staging and the way they manage to make that entertaining and fun really says a lot about how well the show's gears will roll. So this is a little visual.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely it's a really good little ep, and it definitely has this wonderful and I found that I think it's interesting that so Mel Scott plays Ronald, and he was a regular TV actor, getting spots on different shows, including multiple appearances on Police Story, playing different characters. So just he'd show up here as like a character here, a character there. What's a bummer is he actually didn't get a ton of work in the 80s and really hasn't been seen since, because his last credit was he did stunt work on Glory in 1989. Which I find really unfortunate, because in this episode he's got a lot of presence. This is a guy that like could have been in. With that delivery, I would have loved to have seen this guy in Abram Zucker movies. He would have been so good in those. And that is a bit of a shame. And then also, so on the other hand, Herb is Michael McManus. Do you remember who Michael McManus was?
Yeah. Tell our audience.
Yeah, it's Moose from Dating Slump. And so sadly, this was his last part on the show, so we'll have to be saying goodbye to McManus here. He did go on to continue being a character actor, a day player. He actually was a regular on the Lewis and Clark TV show in the early 80s. And I kept thinking the guy looked a little familiar, so it turns out he's in Poltergeist as one of the neighbors, Ben Tuthill. So I think it's one of those, like, and I have not seen Poltergeist in forever. I love that movie, but I haven't seen it in like 20 years. So that was a movie I saw kind of young. And so I watched it a bunch when I was younger. And yeah, so but that's a case of, he was kind of familiar. Mel Scott was kind of new, but it's like they integrate. Like, I would love to have seen these two characters come back for other episodes.
Yeah, same. They were a lot of fun. They were a ton of fun. I will say that one of the plot underpinnings really annoys me. The fact that Edna just decides to do this without telling the girls. Yeah,
that did bother me.
That is a bit, maybe you should tell them so they don't beat these two dudes to death, or they don't end up dead. That's just not very Edna. It's not the sensible person that we know she is, and the smart person that we know she is. So that's always been something that bothered me about this episode. Yeah, she would know better than to do such a thing.
Yeah, it's strange. It's one of the, there's a lot of little gaps in logic that have to be, and that often I know happens where when something kind of more realistic, like, or kind of gritty, I should say more TV drama happens on a sitcom, they always have to play up certain elements of absurdity. And so I feel like they kind of forced it into that way. It's because they, found a cute idea and they just kind of ran with it. As I said, it's a very sitcom, kind of episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works in a lot of ways. It really does work in a lot of ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
This was an episode that was really enhanced by the studio audience. The studio audience is having a hell of a time in this particular episode.
I was literally looking at my note about that. Yes.
Yeah. They kept roaring every time something even slightly risque was spoken by one of these actors. Like, we start playing with my stuff, and they start hooting. Like, this is an episode of Married with Children. It was
Oh no, there's hilarious. That one woman in the audience who could just hear her just howling in the back. Oh my god.
Yeah. If you listen to this show with good headphones on, or you have good stereo speakers, sometimes you'll be able to hear certain quirks within the audience's reactions. And this is one of those episodes that's really obvious. Like, in certain episodes, you can hear David and Michael laughing off stage. When, like, Eddie or Cindy or Penny are doing something, and sometimes you can really hear Eddie laughing. If you listen, they're all on the soundtrack, depending on the episode. I love the way they handle the notion of the girls trying desperately to get some kind of contacting with Carmine. They are trying so hard to warn him, and everything fails, even directly telling Carmine to run. And you just kind of smack Carmine across the head for not running.
Yes.
They're trying real hard to save his life.
God. Yeah, my my mom freaked out at the point when it was revealed about Carmine, and like when at the reveal, the dollar reveal, and they're like, we got to warn Carmine. And my mom's like, no, he may be working with the FBI. You don't want to get in the way. Stop that.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
I know.
But It's funny. I've been working up to this for a bit, and I think I mentioned this. I'm trying to remember if I mentioned this on the tag team wrestling episode or if it was just that with Ashley that we were just talking about it. Is that I wonder, what does it say about me that I forgive Carmine for a lot of crap when I find out there's the possibility he's a mobster or he's connected? It says I think it just says a lot about my interest in fiction because, I'm a crime story guy. I love noir and, mafia stories and triad tales. I've name dropped John Woo and Sergio Leone on this, but I find it really amusing that was something I was like, oh, well, maybe. And then, I have a note later. When we get to the end of the episode, the reveal, I'll hopefully have time for that note, but which was amusing. I remember you got a laugh at it when I told you.
Oh, yeah, I definitely did. I think I remember exactly what you said, yeah. But yeah, Carmine kind of gets on his high horse when the girls even think that he might have a connection to the mafia. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You sell hot TVs and clock radios and all that jazz. You expect them not to maybe think you have extra connections? Like, come on, dude. I love Laverne's reaction when he's all snotty about it. She goes, "You gonna do hit me?" You're like, yeah, she'll kick your butt. She kind of deserves to have his butt kicked a little bit just for his pure reaction to this whole situation. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely he's being unfair, and it's definitely them jumping to that conclusion is much more fair. There's been too many clues.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also have to. I also love but on the Carmine note, I love when Shirley is talking about him, and it's like, I know him. He can't be a mobster. I know how he dances. I know how he kisses. I know how he. Yeah. And I adore that moment so much. It's very it's obviously it's the gossip, and it's sort of a clue that maybe things have gone a little further than we know on the show than it says, which I thought which to me I felt was kind of cute because it means that Shirley and Carmine have been getting along better and they've been bonding better, and so it's like, okay, that's sweet. But
when they become more steady in season 4, that will be addressed more thoroughly. We'll get there eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Laverne is super hot to trot in this episode. She's really into this really average-looking FBI dude. She's really into Herbie. She's really into this average-looking FBI dude. Like,
I think is this just she? Okay, here's a possible theory, because I was just thinking about this about Norman Hughes the other day.
Yeah.
Is Norman Hughes doesn't look like a cop. He looks like a baker to me.
Yeah, he does.
Like he looks like and not only that, he looks like the baker in a Studio Ghibli movie set in Europe.
Yeah,
you probably know which baker I'm thinking of too.
Yes. I literally just flashed right into my head. Oh, that's great.
And so the thing is, and Herb kind of looks like the same. He looks like oh God, who is the sweet baker boy in the Fantastic Beasts film? I apologize for bringing up that film on the pod.
Oh God, I never saw that movie. I never give them money, so I can't help you there.
Yeah.
But
okay. Oh, so you said? Oh, never mind. We'll talk about that off pod. But yeah. But there's a character in that I that Herb reminds me of in a sense. It's like he's a guy that's like, he's gonna work for the FBI for a bit, and then he's gonna start a little business. Maybe they'll have a mechanic. It's something. I guess what I mean is that, think of the analogy though. It's someone who is safe like her dad, or reminds of her dad in the sense that they're sweeter. They don't yell, but they're kind of a doughy guy. They're warm. They're kind of cuddly. They're like a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, if Laverne, she has many different types. She likes a lot of different men, and so. But yeah, so I think, no, totally agree. She is very hot to trot, and she's very hot while she trots as well.
Yes. I love that she was so excited that he doesn't wear pajamas, and then. Then when she dresses up and attempts to be a trick for the FBI to prove herself, she is absolutely here for seducing this dude. Helping out Carmine is almost kind of a side benefit. So she dresses up, and she's all alone. To bring back that phrase, she says she's all alone. And then she makes a running leap for this dude and gets binoculars and a camera right into the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but she tries so hard to be, what she says, as she calls herself, a good tramp.
Mm-hmm.
To try to help Carmine and for her own benefits. She's way into this dude. She's way into this dude. Just kind of amusing it up itself.
Yeah. It is very cute. It's a little surprising. And oh my God, the pet name. Why don't you call me Sweet Potatoes? I die. I love it. I adore it. As well, we have to mention Shirley's facial expressions. At some point, probably by the time this episode has gone up, we'll have done a ongoing thread, or one of many to come, of the many facial expressions on Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley. Shirley's expression when she says, after all these years, I've decided to give myself up to my government. And she's into it, thinking, okay, if I'm gonna do it, it's under my. It's like you don't know how far she's gonna go. And Shirley definitely believes it's gonna go that far.
Yeah. Well, Shirley directly says, "You gotta make sure you look like you're saying, 'Hi, big fella, I'm easy.'" And then Laverne pulls out that nobody thinks I'm gonna. No one's gonna believe it when I tell them that I was a tramp for the FBI. Shirley goes, "Sure they will."
Oh boy, good point. Yeah.
And she just, immediately knows Laverne would do this. And then she criticizes her trampiness, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
This is hilarious. And Laverne's all offended. I was a great tramp, which is a hello line for the boys.
I was about to say, I love that bit. I was a great tramp. Hello.
Yeah.
And okay, if we're gonna move on, I don't know if we're gonna move on directly into Lenny and Squeaky and the whole Junior G-Men thing, because I have a note, but I could hold on to that if you have anything else.
I'm actually probably going to go directly into that, because my next notes were about how they handled the Mr. Marzetti thing. Go for it.
Okay. I love Lenny's G-Men vaudeville dialogue humor voice. That's right. We want to join up. Be Junior G-Men. Yes. I do that. I do that as a silly voice in my day-to-day life.
Yes.
Sometimes while I'm making toast, sometimes while I'm telling people that I will be there soon. And yes, it is delightful. Love it.
You can absolutely picture Tiny Lenny in a movie theater, somewhere in the early 50s, late 40s, when he was a little tiny kid, just absorbing those newsreels and absorbing those theatrical trailers, and this becomes part of who he is. He has to pretend to be a G-Man.
I was thinking of him watching Radar Secret Service.
Yes. All those serials, all those shorts. You can absolutely picture him absorbing all of that. I love them begging Edna for the rights. Literally kissing her feet off screen.
Mm-hmm.
Literally kissing her feet, because this is the beginning of them continuously stiffing her on the rents. They kind of went into a little bit on the cruise, but continues to be a thing. And they continue to try to pass fake money onto her, pass promises, lie they have the money. But I thought that was really funny. I mean, just don't kiss my feet.
Oh God! I'm just imagining the slobber. Now, okay. Speaking of dog-like behavior, though, I have to double back to the girls when they're all excited about the stakeout. I love how they're like two little puppies that are just running. It's like, oh, it's another guy. Oh, and did I tell you it was Mazzetti? Yeah, it was Mazzetti. Yeah. It is so cute.
Yeah. They're so into this. They are so.
Yeah. I think in many ways that is actually the one word I'd use to describe this episode: enthusiasm.
Yeah. Everybody's really into it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, they are so into this investigation until they find out Carmine's a part of it, then they're horrified. It stops being a game the second they find out Carmine can go up the river.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, it's Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I have my notes. I was still just. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of the boys and how just the jumping into it. It's like, and
Yeah.
I think I've got a job for you. Oh, good. I hope it's
Yeah.
under the covers work. And it's like, I wasn't born the yesterday, right, Len? Yeah. If I was the case, I would have sent you a card or something.
That's a great line. That is a great line. I love that line. Shirley trying desperately to send a note to Carmine through Squiggy. And she has to pretend to make out with him. And the way he just reacts to the idea of her suddenly wanting you with total passion. This is so great.
Yeah, that is. I will say that is not the good hate sex there.
No. That's the awkward hate sex.
Oh God, it's the stairway sex scene from History of Violence, isn't it? Oh dear.
Oh God! Oh my God! Wrong reference. Oh. I was gonna say the way he just goes, "Why talk? You can use your lips."
Oh no, that's right. And tell Carmine to collect his own mail. I'm a G-man, not a mailman.
Yeah. And then she tries to eat the note. Frantically shoving it in her mouth. Beautiful physical comedy by Cindy. And then, after Carmine is so, oh, how dare you consider me a member of the mafia. I'm a better person than that around the girls. And they literally have to beg him, for his forgiveness. He finds out he was passing around hot bills.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was a fun payoff at the very end.
Yeah, it was. Hey, Laverne, get a change for 100? Jesus.
Oh man, I did like that.
Oh,
yeah, but as soon as he came in through the door, a few seconds of seeing that the scene was going, I thought, darn, he didn't shoot the feds and take the girls on a descent into madness, sex, and blood.
Oh God.
Fine. I'll just go watch Oliver Stone's butchering of natural born killers again.
Oh God. That movie.
Yeah, and yes, I've read Tarantino's original script. I consider that a butchering. That was a good script.
Yeah. He kind of misses the nuances, is my honest opinion. And then, people, used it for crime sprees, which is the exact opposite of what the movie was trying to say. Exact opposite, people. I was going to say that, I love Shirley's little prayer in that tag scene.
Yes.
She's trying to get everybody to say grace, and then Carmine and Laverne just go, "Amen," just to end it.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's blessing everybody, and she goes to Laverne, "I was just about to bless you." Deadly delivery is beautiful.
I also love the and Laverne had to throw herself at a married man. Yeah, that was the best part.
This, by the way, isn't the first time that Laverne will throw herself at a married man. We'll get there too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Let's wait for it. As the children say, wait for it. I love that they try to show their loyalty to the FBI by saying they were in the color guard.
Yes.
We're in the color guard.
Yes. Oh, and Squiggy's line: I rooted for America in every war.
Yes. It's like, honey, you were only alive for the Korean War so far. It's the only war you were alive for. Unless he might have been alive during the very tail end of World War II. I
was about to say tail end because I'm trying to do the math here. Because that's right. Because my math was that if they're from the class of 56 and they graduated at some point around 56, 57, 58, that would put them to have been born around at the earliest 38, 39. Maybe, it depends on what. So the thing is, we don't know their age when they graduated. And there's a line later that Lenny says in another 3 or 4 episodes. He talks about remedial reading, and they had to keep asking him back, which means that he probably was still doing school courses even into his late teens.
Yeah. Oh, babe. Yeah. He mentions that in Slow Child. Which is
Yeah.
coming up. Yeah.
Which is coming up.
Which is emotionally devastating. We'll get there.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, exactly though. It's a good point. It's a good note. It's like, dude, you were
Yeah.
I mean, by today,
Yeah.
for us millennials today, then man, yeah, there's a lot more wars we could have rooted for America during.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This
Ah, America.
Oh, yeah.
Any hoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun. It wasn't it's not a must see TV, but it's a case of, if you need a good comedy episode, kind of a bubble episode.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one in some respects to put in the background as well, because it's like the zingers of the dialogue are so well written and so well delivered as well.
Yeah. It's a decent episode. It's decent. I would call this decent. There's a level of funny that manages to sustain it.
Yeah.
Some episodes will not do this, and it just crashes under the weight of plot. It just utterly crashes. But this episode, it works. It works pretty decently. Yeah, so I guess you're at the ranking stage.
Yeah. So, so what about you? What was your take?
This is about a 6 for me. About a 6, yeah. I put it on a 6. It's a good episode. It's not a necessary episode. I love the boys running around trying to be junior G-men. I love the boys enthusing even after the whole plot has come out that Laverne's cousin's in the FBI. I love the girls' enthusiasm. I love Laverne's attempt at tramping. I love how hard they try to protect Carmine here. I love that the ultimate solution is that he didn't know anything about it. He was just, passing tap shoes to his guy's daughter. However, it's not necessarily an episode. There are some huge plot holes, like end up being just that stupid and not telling the girls that she let the FBI into their apartment. And you're like, would you ever trust your landlady ever again if she let the FBI into your apartment without telling you? But
we've had 2 landlords that have visited on the property because we're renting. My parents and I rent, and we've had 2 cases of 2 different landlords being on the premises without calling ahead. And freaking us out a little bit, and like kind of and like being like in the backyard, like, oh god, there's an intruder type thing. There's done that twice, and at that point it's like, I understand they own it, we're renting from them, but it's one of those like a lack of courtesy sort of thing. I've never trusted them since. And there was one landlord that was actually a while back when I was like 9 or 10. He wasn't great. No, exactly. There's a trust issues here, man.
Yeah. And Carmine is so on his high horse for no reason.
Yeah.
Dude, you have done skeevy things. There is absolutely no reason for you to get all, how dare you accuse me of this when you have done slimy things. You are the guy people go to for hot clock radios. Be quiet. It's not a huge jump, okay? And it's not even like they're accusing him of murder or anything. They're just accusing you of laundering money, which isn't that huge of a jump after taking stolen merchandise and reselling it, which is what he's doing.
You have to say, John Was a Better Tomorrow made counterfeiting money a much more exciting looking job than it actually is.
Exactly. So where do you rank this?
I'm gonna say like a solid 6 for me.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of strong stuff. The weaknesses I think hold it back a little bit, and there's a few I feel like missed opportunities with it, because as much as I love Herb and Ron, there's a certain point about halfway through the episode they become a bit too muted for me.
Yeah.
And Ronald, for instance, just kind of starts to just be there. And that was a little disappointing for me. So it's an up and down episode. High points are good. And I just, dude, I wanted a Cowboy Bebop shootout at the end. Come on.
Now you're just thinking about that SNL sketch.
Yeah, that's right. The Welcome Back, Kotter is directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yes. But when you go, everyone dies. The way Michael and David wove those characters in that world is great. Lenny trying to bite his hand with a gun in it just says it all.
Yep, and he just
Of course he
bites
would.
the grip.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I will leave the rest of my commentary about that sketch to another time.
We should cover it eventually because it's hilarious. It's ridiculous. And it's kind of on topic. It is on topic for this podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There we
Just
go.
not on this particular episode.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
There you
Anywho, cool. Awesome. So that's a good time, and I guess that's it for today, yes?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us today. And if you would like to know more, please join us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, YouTube, or Night After Night PC on Twitter. So you can join us to be a little more social. We're trying to be a little more social on the social medias over the last few months, and we're trying to just do our part. For all of us, just trying to make it through the world. It's like we're all locked up in a stakeout, staking out the point when we're going to finally be able to go out there and see the world and travel and all of those sort of things, because we're just locked up in here with time. Okay, that's getting a little too heavy. All right, lightness. Okay, well, the next episode, Lisa, is oh god, I just looked up which one it is. Okay,
Yes, it is.
maybe ending on a heavy note is a good idea. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shirley's appendix goes boom. It's Shirley's operation.
Yeah. Okay. So it's well, at the very least, as a looking ahead, it's written by David Duclon, who is very funny, but always has a tinge of poignancy whenever he worked on the scripts. So we'll check in with that next week.
Indeed.